I woke up this morning thinking I was going to spend the day getting excited for the World Cup. 83,000 fans, the Azteca, Mexico versus South Africa, Bielsa, Valverde, the whole thing. Instead, in the span of a few hours, I watched a referee lose his dream at an airport. A nation of 200 million people watched the tournament open without them, and a qualified World Cup team get their supporter tickets reportedly ripped. Away days before kickoff, Ian Wright called it a World Cup of chaos. He wasn't wrong. And I need to walk you through every single thing that happened, because by the end of this, you're going to understand exactly what kind of tournament we are about to witness. Tomorrow, June 10th, 2026, the 2026 FIFA World Cup finally begins. The Azteca, Mexico City, 83,000 seats, the same ground where Pelé and Maradona both made history. A tournament expanded to 48 nations for the first time ever. A tournament that has been surrounded by more controversy and more institutional turbulence than any in modern history. The question everyone has been asking for months, can the football overcome everything surrounding it? There are four threads I need to pull apart for you today. A referee denied entry at an airport, a nation's entire ticket allocation reportedly revoked, Nigeria's greatest captain asking how it happened again, and one story that is pure football, Marcelo Bielsa. But before any of that, let me tell you about a man named Omar. Omar Abdul Kader Atan is 34 years old, Somali, a referee. He worked his way through the ranks of African football, officiating for years, grinding through continental competitions, building a reputation, earning the trust of the institutions that govern the game on the continent. And then, he was selected as one of just 52 referees worldwide for the 2026 World Cup. Let that number sit for a moment. 52. Out of every referee operating across every football federation on the planet, Omar was one of 52 chosen to officiate the most watched sporting event in human history. He would have been the first Somali referee ever to appear at a men's World Cup, not just a personal achievement. A moment of pride for an entire country that has faced extraordinary difficulty for decades. Last weekend, Omar arrived at Miami International Airport. He carried a diplomatic passport. He had FIFA accreditation. He was confirmed on the officiating roster. None of it mattered. US Customs submitted to what they described as additional inspection. The result, denied entry, vetting concerns cited. He was put on a flight home. Somalia is on the US travel ban list, and that, it appears, was enough. His historic moment gone. Before a single match was played, FIFA's response was a statement remarkable for what it didn't say. They confirmed they are not involved in host country immigration processes. They confirmed the decision will not be changed. Somalia's ministry stated he had a valid visa. No further detail was given by either party, and then Omar himself responded. He said he was in a positive mood. He thanked FIFA and his continental body. He promised to keep his refereeing levels up. A man who worked his entire career toward a single moment, responding with composure and grace that frankly put the institutions around him to shame. Ian Wright saw the story. He went on Instagram, millions of followers watching, and he didn't hold back. Every few hours, another story. Fans denied, players denied, officials denied, journalists denied, now refs. He said he was laughing, but it actually wasn't funny. He asked directly, is this how us hosts behave for the greatest tournament in the world? Is this the spirit of football? He called it on record. A World Cup of chaos. Gary Lineker followed. Football deserves better, and on social media the response was immediate. One tweet captured what thousands were feeling. A Somali referee spends years reaching the highest level and loses his dream at an airport. Heartbreaking. This is not a minor administrative error. This is the removal of a historic milestone from a man who earned it, and from a country that needed it. And it happened not in spite of the system, but because of it. And then, within hours, a second story landed. And this one was somehow even bigger. To understand what happened with Iran, you need to understand what their 2026 World Cup already looked like before today. Iran's players have been based in Tijuana, Mexico, crossing the border on match days and returning each night because their federation officials were denied visas to enter the United States. Iran's sports minister stated that under no circumstances can we participate, and only a personal diplomatic intervention from the Mexican president saved their participation in the tournament at all. Iran boycotted the draw ceremony in Washington. Their fans were already subject to a travel ban. Now ask yourself, how much worse could it get? Every federation receives 8% of stadium capacity for their matches. Iran is playing in Englewood, a 70,000-seat stadium, against New Zealand, then Belgium, then Egypt in Seattle. That is thousands of tickets per game, distributed to diaspora fans already living in the United States. Fans who could legally attend, fans who had been waiting for this. Iran's federation issued a statement claiming that FIFA had allegedly revoked the entire allocation, not reduced, not partial, not a single ticket. The federation cannot offer supporters one seat to watch their team at a World Cup they qualified for. FIFA responded with silence, no statement confirming or denying the claim. The reaction online reflected the scale of what this means. Some supporter put it plainly, if Iran supporters really can't access their allocation, that's one of the biggest fan-related stories in modern World Cup history. Another, World Cups are built on travelling fans. Remove them and something important is lost. Now read the full picture of Iran's experience at this tournament in one breath. Their sports minister said they couldn't participate. Mexico's president intervened diplomatically. They boycotted the draw. Their officials can't get visas. They're sleeping in one country and playing in another. And now, reportedly, no supporter tickets. That is not one decision. That is not one policy. That is a qualified World Cup nation navigating conditions that no other team in this competition's history has ever been asked to manage. I need to take a breath, because this is where the story shifts completely. Marcelo Bielsa is 70 years old. They call him El Loco. He is the most obsessively detailed tactical mind football has produced in 3 decades. He managed Argentina, Chile, Athletic Bilbao, Marseille, and Leeds United, and at every stop he redefined what those clubs or those nations believed was possible. Rival clubs built special rooms just to accommodate his film study sessions. There are accounts of him sleeping overnight in an empty stadium's technical area to study sightlines before a match. His players described the experience of working under him in almost contradictory terms, simultaneously terrifying and life-changing. Bielsa took over Uruguay's national team and guided them through qualification. He has landed in Group H alongside Mexico, South Africa, and Czechia, the opening group of the tournament. His squad includes Darwin Núñez, Federico Valverde, and Rodrigo Bentancur. European-level quality wearing Uruguayan colours. Uruguay is a country of 3.5 million people competing at the highest level of international football. That alone is worth noting. What Bielsa does with that material, and the specific way he chooses to do it, is what makes his presence at this tournament genuinely compelling. Nobody knows what he'll do next, including his own opponents. He is probably not sleeping tonight. He is probably watching South Africa footage that nobody else thought to pull. In a tournament drowning in institutional noise, Bielsa is pure signal. His presence is a reminder that this competition also belongs to the genuinely extraordinary, but not everyone gets to be extraordinary at a World Cup. Some countries don't even get a seat. Michael Olise is playing this World Cup for France. Manuel Akanji is playing it for Switzerland. Jamal Musiala, whose father is Nigerian, is playing it for Germany. The talent that flows from Nigerian roots is visible across the squads of some of the most powerful footballing nations on the planet. And yet Nigeria, Africa's most populous country of 200 million people, is watching from home for the second consecutive World Cup. The talent is there, the structure isn't. Here is how Nigeria got here. They went through 4 different coaches in a single qualification cycle. They were eliminated by Ghana on penalties in the previous cycle. This time, they lost to the Democratic Republic of Congo in the playoff final in Rabat 4-3 on penalties, one of Africa's deepest talent pools. Second consecutive tournament missed. John Obi Mikel, a man who played at 2 World Cups, who captained Nigeria with distinction, spoke on his podcast and on British sports radio. He called it a failure, a disaster. He said it carefully. He meant every word. Football is the one thing that holds Nigeria together, cuts across religion, tribe, economic difficulty. Whether you're Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo, Muslim, Christian, when Nigeria plays, everyone watches. Everyone feels joy together. He said the entire NFF board should resign, not as a populist statement, but as a considered position from someone who understands exactly what this tournament means to that country. He said even winning AFCON wouldn't remove the pain of missing a World Cup. On social media, he was direct. This is not bad luck anymore. It's a failure of leadership and accountability. And across the world, Nigerian fans are watching. Musiala, Olise, and Akanji represent other nations at a tournament Nigeria should be at. 200 million people, watching from home, while the rest of the world watches a 48-team World Cup designed to be the most inclusive in history. There are 4 stories here. They are not unrelated. A tournament was designed to represent football's universality. It expanded to 48 nations, more countries, more cultures, more voices than ever before in the competition's history. And in the same week it opened, it denied a Somali referee entry on a diplomatic passport. It reportedly revoked a qualified nation's entire supporter ticket allocation. It left the continent's most populous football nation watching from their living rooms. Ian Wright's phrase, "a World Cup of chaos," was not hyperbole. Football analysts and journalists who cover this game with rigour have started using language that reflects the scale of what is happening. One writer put it clearly, administrative controversies surrounding this tournament are becoming impossible to ignore. Another observed, the tournament was expanded to include more nations, yet some still face barriers simply getting through the door. That contradiction is striking. And it is striking, because the 2026 World Cup was sold genuinely enthusiastically as the most expansive, most inclusive, most globally representative edition of the tournament ever staged. 48 teams, 3 host nations, a record number of matches, more players, more fans, more countries given a seat at the table. That is still true on paper, but the gap between what this tournament was promised to be and what the opening week has revealed is real. A Somali referee who earned his place at the highest level lost his historic moment at an immigration desk. A nation's diaspora fans who could legally attend their team's matches are reportedly being told there are no tickets for them. A country of 200 million people with elite-level talent distributed across European leagues couldn't hold together a coaching structure long enough to qualify. These are not soft failures. They are not the kind of thing that gets smoothed over by a good group stage game. But here is what is also true. Tomorrow the Azteca opens. 83,000 people will fill a stadium where Pelé and Maradona made history. Marcelo Bielsa, sitting somewhere in North America, almost certainly reviewing footage nobody else thought to pull, will send his Uruguay side out to compete in ways that remind you why tactics matter and why football is worth caring about. Iran's players, who have managed more adversity in the lead up to this tournament than any squad in World Cup history, are ready. They trained, they qualified, they showed up, and when the football starts, it starts. The moments arrive regardless, indifferent to revoked tickets and airport denials. One supporter put it best: chaos outside the stadium, magic inside the stadium. That might be the story of this entire World Cup. Another. Tomorrow the football starts and everyone will forget the politics for 90 minutes. That's the power of the game. I woke up this morning thinking I was going to spend today getting excited. I did. Just not in the way I expected. Tomorrow, the football answers everything.